about to start my workout for today. Today, all I'm using is actually 3 dumbbells. I'm using a light set of dumbbells and then 1 heavier dumbbell. I'm also going to be using my jump rope and an exercise mat. So if you have all of those things, get them ready. We're using them today, but if you don't have any exercise equipment, that's fine. You can still do this workout right along with me. I will be providing equipment-free substitutions. And it's Monday, so that means that we are also going to be doing a mobility challenge today. So make sure you stick around after the workout to try the mobility challenge with me. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So starting with jump rope, because we're going to be starting the workout with a jump rope section. I'm going to be doing sets of 100 with my jump rope. And what I mean by that, a set of 100, we're counting revolutions of the jump rope. So each revolution of the rope equals 1 rep. So for a set of 100, that means I'm counting 100 revolutions of the jump rope. That's 1 set. And we're going to be doing 10 sets of 100. It's going to take somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 minutes, plus or minus about 10 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood, okay? So if you do have a jump rope and you would like to jump rope with me today, get your jump rope ready. Any jump rope variation you want to do is fine. I always just kind of jog in place like this while I'm jumping rope. But if you are more comfortable jumping with your feet together, great, jump with your feet together. It doesn't matter what style of jump rope you do. So if you're really good at jump rope and you want to challenge yourself a little more, you can do high knees, you can do jump rope jacks, twist jumps, you can jump side to side, you can jump on one leg. It doesn't matter. The only important thing is that we're counting revolutions of the rope. So you'll count 100 revolutions of the rope, that's 1 set, and we're doing 10 sets of 100. All right, so if you do not have a jump rope, you have a few options. Option number 1, you can simply eliminate the jump rope sections. Again, you can use the chapter markers to navigate. So I will separate the workout into 5 different parts. We're doing 3 jump rope sections. All 3 jump rope sections are identical. And in between those jump rope sections, we're going to be doing weighted combo. We're doing strength training with the dumbbells. So there's 2 weighted combos that I'm going to show you. So if you don't want to do the jump rope, then you can just do parts 2 and 4 of the workout. That's our strength training, okay? So you can eliminate the cardio and just do the strength training if you prefer. That's your first option. Your second option, if you still want to include the cardio sections, so that you want your workout to be a mix of strength training and cardio training, that's great. Like I said, the jump rope sections are going to take about 10 minutes, something in that neighborhood. So you can just substitute with 10 minutes or so of any type of moderate paced cardio you want. So for example, you could go for a jog. Maybe it takes you 10 minutes to run a mile. You can run 1 mile, that's great. Maybe you can run 2 miles in 10 minutes, that's amazing. All right, maybe 1.5 miles. So you can jog around your neighborhood. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could jog around the track. You could also do up and down the bleachers for 5-10 minutes, whatever works for you, okay? Or if you have access to steps anywhere else in your home, your apartment complex, if you live close to a beach or a park or hiking trail that has steps, up and down the steps is another great option. If you have access to a heavy bag, either as part of your home gym or if you have a gym membership and you have access to a heavy bag there, you can work on your heavy bag for about 10 minutes. I think that's a really cool option. Or if you have access to something like an elliptical or a treadmill or an exercise bike, something like that, you can hop on one of those for 10 minutes for each of those 3 jump rope sections. Whenever I'm jumping rope, you can be on your treadmill or your exercise bike. All right, if you want to just stay put, you really can just even pantomime jumping rope. This is a thing they sell, ropeless jump ropes, where you really just are holding on to 2 handles while you jump over an imaginary rope. So you can invest in one of those if you want. I think that would be a fine investment. I can't imagine they're very expensive. And if you're going to be following my workouts regularly, I do a lot of jump rope. So it's something that you would get a lot of use out of. But I think that if you are already jumping over an imaginary rope, you can probably do that whilst holding on to imaginary handles. So I think it is absolutely fine to just pantomime jumping rope. You can hold on to a set of imaginary handles and you can either kind of jog in place like I do, or if you want, you can pretend you're jumping over a jump rope with your feet together if that works better for you. If you don't want to pantomime jumping rope, you can just jog in place or do jumping jacks or mountain climbers or any other moderate pace cardio exercise that you want to do while I'm jumping rope. Okay, so that is your equipment-free substitution for all 3 jump rope sections. Now, moving on to our first combo. For this first combo, I am using a set of 5-pound dumbbells. So each of these 2 dumbbells is 5 pounds. They're 5 pounds a piece. That feels light to me. That's my lighter set of dumbbells. So you may need to use something lighter than 5 pounds a piece. You may need to use something heavier. That just depends on your strength. It depends on your level of fitness. It depends on what you have available to you and how hard you are looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weight and make the decision that is best for you. But for this first combo, I'm going to very strongly recommend that you select a pair of weights that feels light to you. I do not think it is a good idea to do this first combo with a pair of weights that feels heavy to you, especially since we are doing so many sets of the combo. So I have 5-pound dumbbells and 10-pound dumbbells, and that's it. That's all I own. Okay, so my lighter set, I'm lying, I actually do have an even lighter set than that, but I never use them. So for all intents and purposes, I have these 2 sets of dumbbells. My 5-pound dumbbells, that's my lighter set of dumbbells, and my heavier set of dumbbells is 10 pounds a piece. Okay, so those weights work well for me, but you need to make the decision that is best for you. So like I said, it depends on your strength and your level of fitness. It also depends on what you have available to you. So if you don't have access to dumbbells, then you can look for household items that will work. So for example, instead of a couple of light dumbbells, you could grab a shampoo bottle and a conditioner bottle out of your shower, okay? Or if you have empty shampoo bottles that you're getting ready to recycle, you can rinse them out and then fill them with either water or maybe uncooked rice or dried beans, kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent, something like that. Just something that you have around the house that will give them a little bit of weight. Okay, so you could do the same thing with a water bottle, a couple of water bottles, fill them with water, uncooked rice, anything like that, just to give them a little bit of added weight. They're not going to be 5 pounds, but it'll be something. Okay, so you have to get creative and use what is available to you. But if you do not want to add weight, if you just have nothing around your house that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to your workouts, that's fine, stick around. As I mentioned in the beginning, I will be providing equipment-free substitutions. But let me first show you the combo the way I'm doing it with the added weight. So I have my weights on my mat. I'm going to come down onto my mat on my back with my knees bent and my feet flat on the floor or the ground. And then I'm going to reach above my head so that my arms I want my arms to be pretty well extended, so more or less straight. And then I'm going to begin by lifting the weights up and bringing them over. So my arms are more or less straight. However, I want to caution you against actively trying to straighten your arm and locking out your elbow. You want your arm more or less straight. You're not bending it necessarily. It's more or less straight, but you do want a soft little bend in your elbow. You don't want to be locking out your elbow. You're not actively trying to straighten your arm all the way, okay? So you need to have just a slight bend in your elbow, both elbows, the whole time, okay? So I'm reaching overhead. Arms are more or less straight. Knees are bent. Feet are flat on the ground. And now I'm going to lift my arms up, keeping them more or less straight the entire time, but maintaining that soft bend in my elbow. And I'm going to keep going, bringing the weights down to either side of me like this. Then I'm going to press my heels into the ground and press my hips up as high towards the ceiling as I can. All right, I'm squeezing my glutes and I'm really, really pushing my hips up as high as I can. I'm trying to touch the ceiling with my hip flexors. And then from here, I'm gonna do a couple of marches. So I'm just going to pick up one knee at a time and then place the foot back down, 1, 2. And then I'm going to lower my hips back down to the mat with control. You don't have to go that slowly on the way back down. I'm just demonstrating how much the movement should be under control. So you're here, you're marching. You don't want to just let your foot kind of drop down. You're controlling that movement on the way up, controlling the movement on the way down with each march. And then you're controlling the movement as you lower your hips. So you're not just letting your hips drop down, you're controlling that movement the entire way down. Okay, the movement should always be under control. Then I'm going to bring my arms back up overhead. So I have not let go of my weights this whole time. I'm still holding on to my weights. I'm just going to reverse this movement with my arms and return to my starting position. So again, I have not let go of my weights. I'm still holding on to my weights, but I'm going to let go of them just for a second to demonstrate something to you before we go through this final part of the combo, okay? So if you are lying here completely relaxed, what's going to tend to happen is that you naturally have a curve in your low back. And so what's going to tend to happen if you're lying here totally relaxed is that you are going to have a space between your low back and the mat. Do you see how I can put my hand underneath the small of my back? So before we do this little leg lift, you want to get rid of that. So what you want to do is actually rotate your pelvis this way, rotate your hips forward so that you're pressing your low back into the mat. It's really going to help engage and isolate those lower abs. Okay, so now I cannot get my hand underneath my back. There's no space between my low back and the mat. I'm tilting my pelvis this way, pressing my low back into the mat like I'm trying to suck my belly button all the way down to the mat, trying to touch the mat with my belly button, okay? And then from there, you're going to, as you're pressing your low back into the mat, you're going to lift both knees with control and lower with control. And while you do that, you're going to add a fly. So you're going to bring your arms around and tap the weights together underneath your knees. So all put together, it's going to look like this. Rotate the pelvis, press that low back into the mat, and then keeping your low back in contact with the whole mat, with the mat the whole time, you're going to lift your knees. At the same time, you're bringing the weights around and tapping them together under your knees, and then reverse the movement. Weights come back around, arms are extended overhead as you lower your heels back down to the ground with control. All right, and that's it. I know it's a lot of components, but that's the combo, okay? So let's put a couple of sets together so you can see what it's going to look like when we do the entire combo. So you're starting with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground. You're going to do your arm pull over, whatever I'm calling this, I don't know what I'm calling it. And then press the heels into the mat for your glute bridge raise. And now march, march, lower the hips. Return to your starting position. Press that low back into the mat as you lift your knees. Tap the weights together underneath your knees. And then return to your starting position. Okay, that's it. Let's do a couple more. Arms come overhead. Glute bridge raise. 2 marches. Lower the hips. Return to the starting position. And now lift both knees, add that fly, and return to the starting position. Pull over with the arms, glute bridge raise, march, march, hips down, arms overhead. Lift the knees, tap the weights, and return to the starting position. Okay, so that is the combo. So if you need an equipment-free option, you don't want to add weight, you can do this instead. You can start in the same position with your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. And then what you can do is you can do your glute bridge raise. So in that case, I would just start with my hands to my side. You can bring your arms over like I was doing if you want, but without holding on to any weight, this movement's not going to be very productive. It doesn't hurt anything if you want to do it. So you can start with your arms here and mimic what I was doing, but I'm gonna say there's really no point to it. So I'm gonna say just start with your arms to your side. You can start with your glute bridge raise. So this part is the same. 2 marches, lower the hips, and then again, instead of returning your arms to this position, I don't see much of a point to that, so what I'm going to recommend is that you just lift your arms straight up, lift your knees up, and just do 2 dead bugs, okay? So what that means is that I'm going to lower I'm straightening one leg and lowering one heel down to the ground, tapping the heel on the ground, and then bringing it back. I'm gonna repeat that on the other side. So whatever leg is remaining bent, try to keep that leg perfectly still as you straighten the opposite leg. Tap the knee down. Make sure you're controlling the movement. Don't let the leg drop down. You're controlling the movement. Tap the heel and then return to this position. But make sure that the other leg is not moving. Make sure you're pressing your low back into the mat, and while you're doing that, you're going to lower the opposite arm down to the ground or to the mat, okay? So hands up here. As I straighten this leg, I'm going to straighten the opposite hand, lower it down to the ground, and then return. My arms are pointing straight up again, but both knees are bent, and then I'm gonna repeat on the other side. Straightening one leg, tapping the heel to the ground, bringing the leg back up, bringing the arm back up, okay? And then you can just put both knees down, both arms down, and return to your starting position. That's what I would recommend for an equipment-free option. So let's put a couple of sets together, and that's what you're going to do if you're not adding weight. So starting with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground, your arms are down by your side. You're going to press your heels into the ground, lift your hips for your glute bridge raise, and then 2 marches. So lift one knee at a time with control. Then lower the hips with control. Rotate your pelvis, press that low back into the mat as you lift both knees. Lift your arms straight up, and now keeping that low back pressed into the mat as you do your 2 dead bugs, one on each side. So straighten one arm, or straighten one leg, and lower the opposite arm down, back to the middle. Repeat on the other side. Straighten the other leg, gently tap the heel to the ground, make sure the movement's under control, make sure your other leg is not moving, and then return, and then go ahead and lower the arms, lower the heels back down. All right, so that would be 1 set. So, glute bridge raise, march, march, and now 2 dead bugs. 1, 2, lower the heels, lower the arms. Glute bridge raise, march, march. 2 dead bugs. 1, 2. Lower the heels, lower the arms. All right, that's what I would recommend for your equipment-free substitution. But again, if you don't have dumbbells, household items will absolutely work. So grab a couple of water bottles, shampoo bottles, something like that. But if you don't want to add weight, you don't have to. That is our first combo, with and without weight. So let's go ahead and go over the second combo. And I'll give you your equipment-free substitution for that one as well. And then I'll just briefly explain the format, and then we can get on with our warm-up and our workout. So for the second combo, I'm just using one dumbbell. This is a 10-pound dumbbell. Again, that is a good weight for me, but you may need to use something lighter or heavier. So if all you have available to you is shampoo bottles or water bottles, then just go ahead and use something light like that, okay? But if you have something heavier, a kettlebell will work for this. It shouldn't be the heaviest thing you can lift, but I'm going to be using a heavier weight for this exercise. I think that this combo lends itself to a heavier weight better than the first combo does, so that's what I'm doing, okay? So please be smart, be safe, listen to your body, make sure you're working to your own level, and make the decision that is best for you. But for reference, this is a 10-pound dumbbell. That's what I'm using, okay? But you can absolutely use a lighter weight if that's all you have. Just make sure that whatever you're using is not too heavy for you. That's the main thing. So what you're going to do is I'm going to start by lifting my weight up to my shoulder. So in this position, I have the back of my palm is facing this wall over there, and the inside of the back of my hand, what is this? This is not my palm. The back of my hand is facing that wall. My palm is facing this ear, okay? So my feet are together. I'm going to take one step to the side. I'm going to, the foot that's on the same side as the weight, that's my standing leg. So this foot stays planted. With the other leg, I'm going to step to the side and lunge. So as I do that, I'm going to bring the weight down towards my lunging foot, and then I'm going to come back up and drive the knee up as I press the weight up overhead. That's the first part of the combo, so let's break that down. Number one, I want to go over the correct form for lunges and squats. So for this entire sequence, this is what I want you to have in your mind. Flat back, weight in the heels. Okay, so as we're doing our squat component, which we'll get to in a minute, you want to remember that you keep your back flat and you keep your weight in your heels as you're sinking into that squat. Same thing with the lunge. As you lunge to the side, you want your back flat and you want the weight in the heel of your lunging foot. So you want to begin by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Shoulders are back and down. Your chest is lifted nice and high. Make sure your abs are super strong and tight and engaged. I'm starting with my feet together. I'm going to step to the side, and as I do that, I'm going to push my booty back as though I'm trying to touch this wall behind me with my booty. As I'm doing that, I also want to remember to maintain that sensation of keeping my chest lifted. So I want to think about trying to touch the wall in front of me with my chest. The point is that you want your spine nice and elongated. That's how we're going to achieve that flat back. And by pushing that booty back, that's how I'm going to make sure I'm keeping the weight in the heel of this lunging foot. The main thing is that you want to make sure your knees are not going out over your toes. You want your knees always to be more over your heel. You always want your weight back in your heel, okay? Just to help protect your knees. So from here, shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are super strong and tight and engaged. Stepping to the side, pushing the booty back, trying to touch the wall behind me with my booty, trying to touch the wall in front of me with my chest so that I'm not rounding my back. My back is flat, the weight is in the heel of my lunging foot. I'm reaching down with my weight towards this lunging foot, but it's not very important to actually tap your foot with the weight, because if the only way you can do that is to round your back, then don't worry about tapping your toes. It's more important that you're keeping your back flat. So tuck those shoulder blades into the back pockets. Back is flat, weight is in the heel, and if you can only bring the weight down to your knee, that's fine. Just bring it down as close to your foot as you can without rounding your back. Just remember, flat back, weight in the heels. That's what you need to be repeating to yourself throughout this entire combo that we're doing. All right, so adding the weight to that, I'm starting with my weight up by my shoulder. So weight is on the same side as the standing leg. Going to step to the side with the opposite foot. Back is flat, weight is in the heel of this lunging foot as I tap the weight down towards my toe, and then as I come up, I'm pressing this heel into the ground. And instead of just returning to my starting position, you can do that if you want. That's a modification. If you want to increase the difficulty, what you can do is what I'm going to do, which is drive the knee up towards the chest. As you're doing that, you're bringing the weight to the shoulder, and once you're in this position, you're going to press the weight up overhead and then bend the elbow, bring the weight back down to the shoulder, okay? So let's put that much of it together a couple times just so you can see how it's going to flow. Starting position, lunge to the side, tap the weight down, knee up, press the weight up overhead, okay? Lunge, knee up, overhead press. Now from here, I'm going to put this foot down so that it's a little wider than shoulder, my feet are a little wider than shoulder width apart. And I'm going to bring the weight down in front of me. I'm going to take my free hand and place it over the top of the hand that's holding on to the dumbbell. And then I'm going to do a squat. So again, before you squat, you want to roll your shoulders back and down like you're trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high. Remember, you want to maintain that sensation of your chest being lifted nice and high. And before you think of squatting straight down, you don't want to just think of your squat as going straight down, because if you do that, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees are going to end up out over your toes. But remember that we want to keep our weight in the heels. So what you're actually going to do is hinge at the hips. So again, you're pushing that booty back, trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Your spine is nice and elongated so that your back stays flat and the weight stays in your heels. Do you see I can actually pick up my toes? And then from here is where you can sink down into your squat. Then press the heels into the ground to stand. That's just a basic air squat. I'm going to be adding weight. So again, we were here, right? We just did our side lunge, knee up, overhead press. So from here, I'm setting the foot down. My feet are a little wider than shoulder width apart. I'm going to bring the weight in front of me. Now my palm is facing this wall. The back of my hand is facing that wall over there. I'm taking my free hand, placing it over the top of the hand that's holding onto the dumbbell. And now I'm gonna tuck my shoulder blades into my back pockets. My shoulders are back and down. My chest is lifted nice and high. My abs are super strong and tight and engaged. I'm going to push my booty back like I'm trying to touch the gate behind me with my booty, and keeping my back flat, keeping the weight in my heels. I'm gonna sink down into my squat, and then I'm going to press my heels into the ground to stand, okay? Now, I'm going to be adding a couple more components. I just wanna break it down one step at a time so that I'm not hitting you with so much all at once, okay? So, side lunge, knee up, overhead press. Got that. Then, we're doing our weighted goblet squat. Not a goblet squat, like kind of just a squat, I guess, just a weighted squat. All right, so we got that. Then, we're going to hinge at the hips, and we're going to do a bent over fly. So, from my squat, instead of standing all the way back up, I'm just going to come up halfway, and I'm going to hinge at the hips. So it's going to look like this, all right? I have my weight in front of me. I'm gonna squat. Instead of standing up all the way, I'm down here. I'm gonna press my heels into the ground, come up about halfway so that my legs are more or less straight, but I'm not standing upright. I'm hinging at the hips. And then from this position, I'm going to do my bent over fly. So all that means is that I'm going to lift my dumbbell up to the side and then bring it back. And then from here, I'm going to hinge at the hips to stand, okay? So for the bent over fly, again, make sure you're not actively straightening your arm all the way. Do not lock out your elbow. You want a soft bend to your elbow. So you're not bending the arm necessarily, it's more or less straight, but your elbow is soft. Don't lock out your elbow. There should be a slight bend when you're doing that bent over fly. So from the front, it will look like this. Squat, hinge, fly, and stand, okay? I know it's a lot, but if you kind of break it up into those 3 sections, so you have the lunge section, and then the squat section, and then the bent over fly, okay? It makes sense. Just keep saying squat, hinge, fly, okay? Lunge, squat, hinge, fly. And keep saying flat back, weight in the heels. I know it's a lot. I'm gonna do it with you, so just follow along with what I'm doing. But let's go ahead and put a couple of sets together so you can see the whole combo, what it's gonna look like on the day, okay? So starting position, weight is up on the shoulder. The opposite foot is going to step to the side for a lunge. Tap the weight down towards that lunging foot, and then on the way up, drive that knee up towards your chest, overhead press. Now place the foot down, hold the weight in front of you with both hands. Squat, hinge, fly, and stand. And that's 1 set, okay? Now return to your starting position. So it's we're kind of adding a little hammer curl just to get the weight back up here. Step the feet together. You're just returning to your starting position. We're staying on the same side, okay? Let's do it a couple more times. So from here, side lunge, knee up, press the weight up overhead, foot goes down, weight comes down in front of you, and now squat, hinge, fly, return to the starting position. See, it's not that bad. From the side, let's do a couple from the side so you can see. Side lunge, knee up, overhead press, squat, hinge, fly, and return to the starting position. Lunge, knee up, overhead press, squat, hinge, fly, and back up. All right, and that's it. That's the combo. So again, if you don't have a dumbbell, a kettlebell will work great. Household item will also work just fine. Water bottle, shampoo bottle, something like that. If you don't have anything that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to your workout, I'm going to recommend that you do your combo a bit differently. So here's what I'm going to recommend. It's much simpler, so that's the good news. I'm going to recommend a good morning plus a squat and a side lunge. That's it, okay? Much simpler. So when I do my good mornings, I always have my hands clasped behind my head. And to do your good morning, it's just a hinge at the hips. So you're going to kind of end up in that same position that we were in for our bent over fly, okay? But you're just gonna have your hands clasped behind your head because you're not holding on to anything, so there's nothing to fly, okay? So hands clasped behind the head. Again, your shoulders are back and down, your chest is lifted high, abs are tight, you're pushing your booty back. This is a hip hinge, so push the booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Spine is elongated, back is flat, weight is in the heels. Your legs are more or less straight. We're not squatting yet. At this point, you're keeping your legs more or less straight, but again, do not actively try to straighten your legs. You're not locking out your knees. There should be a soft bend to your knees, but we're not squatting yet. You just want your legs more or less straight, but don't lock out the knees, soft bend to the knees, hinge at the hips, that's your good morning. And then from here, you're going to go into your squat, okay? And then you can add a little side lunge. And that can be your combo, okay? So, put a couple reps together. It'll look like this. Good morning, squat, side lunge. That's 1. Good morning, squat, side lunge. That's 2, okay? You can alternate sides with each set if you prefer. Or you can do, we're doing 100 of these. If that's too many, you don't have to do, okay, but however many you're doing, let's say you're doing 50 all day, you can do 25 on one side and then 25 on the other. The point is you could alternate sides with each rep if that works better for you, or you can do half of your reps on one side, get those done, and then switch to the other side for the second half, okay? So I am going to be staying on one side for the first half, just because it works better that way with the weight. It gets a little bit confusing if you're switching sides with each rep and then have to come up with a way to switch the weight to the other side. For me, that combo is enough going on. It's enough moving parts. I don't want to make it any more complicated than it needs to be. So I'm going to be staying on one side, getting doing the first half of my reps on one side, and then I'll switch to the other side for the second half, okay? So whatever works for you, but that is what I'm going to recommend for your equipment-free substitution for the second combo. And that's it, that's all we're doing. So now here's the format. So we're starting with our first jump rope section. Remember, all 3 jump rope sections are identical, 10 sets of 100. So that's section or part 1 of the workout, 10 sets of 100 with the jump rope, or plus or minus 10 minutes of some other kind of moderate paced cardio if you are including the cardio. If not, you can just start with part 2. Part 2 is our first combo, and we're doing 100 sets. I know it's a lot. You can do 50 if you prefer. I toyed with the idea of doing 50, but I don't know, I just feel like doing 100 sets of both of these today. Don't ask me why. I know it's a lot. It's gonna be a long, tough workout, so if that is too much for you, remember that you can always make whatever adjustments you need to make. So we're doing 3 jump rope sections, and with each jump rope section, we're doing 10 sets of 100 with the jump rope. That means that by the end of the workout, we will have done a total of 3,000 revolutions of the jump rope. So if that's too many for you, just do 2 jump rope sections, okay? Or just do fewer sets with each jump rope section. So instead of doing 10 sets of 100, do 5 sets of 100 with each jump rope section. Then by the end of the workout, you will have completed about 15 minutes of moderate paced cardio as opposed to the 30 minutes that I'll be doing. And you will have completed a total of 1,500 revolutions with the jump rope instead of 3,000. Okay, so you can always cut everything in half if that works better for you. If you just don't have time or for whatever reason, just make whatever changes and modifications you need to make it work for you. But I am doing 10 sets of 100 with the jump rope. Then I'm moving on to part 2, which is my first combo with my light set of dumbbells. That's our glute bridge raise combo, and I'm going to be doing a total of 100 sets before moving on to my next jump rope section. So then I'll do another jump rope section, meaning another 10 sets of 100 with my jump rope, and then I will move on to the second combo, which is the one I just showed you, my side lunge plus my squat, hinge, and fly combo. 50 sets on one side, and then 50 sets on the other side. And then I'll finish with one final jump rope section. Again, 10 sets of, 10 sets of 100 with the jump rope. That's my final jump rope section, and that's the workout. All right, so hopefully that all makes sense. Please remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video. I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you, so watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear about the format or about how you can change the format and customize it to suit your fitness level or your time constraints, if you have questions about any of the specific exercises that we are doing for today's workout, if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions, or if you need to see beginner modifications for any of the exercises, please just ask. It is incredibly important that you understand the movement, you understand how to do each exercise with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you understand what it is you're asking your body to do. It's just going to help to reduce your risk of injury, and it's also going to maximize the benefit that you're getting out of each exercise. And you guys know it is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I am always here to help facilitate that. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also want to remind you, especially if you are going to be working out along with the video, to please make sure you're going at your own pace. As important as it is that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, it is equally as important that you are applying that knowledge during the workout and actually performing the exercises correctly with the proper form, so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So make sure that you're going at your own pace, meaning that I don't want you to sacrifice your form for speed. If you are in any kind of decent shape, you will probably be much faster than I am, and that's great. Be faster than I am, okay? If you get too far ahead of me, you can always skip ahead in the video, but just be where you are. Make sure you're going at your own pace. If you're faster than I am, that's wonderful, as long as you're not sacrificing your form to get there. On the other hand, if you are slower than I am, I don't want you racing to keep up with me, because if you find that you're just racing through the exercises, either because you're trying to go really, really fast just for the sake of going fast so that you can say you got a great score, or because you're trying to keep up with me, if your form starts to get sloppy because you're racing through the exercises, that means you need to slow down. All right, so if you fall behind, either because you're just working at a slower pace than I am, or because you're finding that you need to pause and take rest breaks, that's fine. You can always pause the video and then just come back when you're ready. I'm not going anywhere. I will be right here. We can finish the workout together when you are ready. So if you do need to pause and take rest breaks, I encourage that. You should rest if you need to. I also want to challenge you, though, to do your best to keep the rest breaks as short as you can. This is for time. So the goal is to try to complete all of the reps as quickly as you can, but without sacrificing your form. So if you need to pause and rest, pause and rest. See if you can keep the rest breaks as short as possible, but they should be as long as you need. So again, you just need to be smart. You need to be safe. You need to listen to your body. Okay, I don't want you pushing yourself into doing anything that your body is not ready to do. So you should only resume the workout once you feel that you have enough strength and enough stamina that you are able to continue with good form. Remember, your proper form is the most important thing above all else. Okay, so make sure you're going at your own pace. Make sure you're working to your own level. Do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do, and make sure you're minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. I think that's it. Hopefully I have covered everything. If you are ready to go ahead and start the workout, first of all, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you do not have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you are working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all, but especially for that first combo, you're going to be much more comfortable with something soft underneath you. So definitely grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. Grab a jump rope if you have a jump rope, and if you're jumping rope with me today. And then if you are planning on adding weight to our strength training combos, go ahead and grab a light set of dumbbells if you have them. If not, remember, you can grab a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with some sort of weight, water, uncooked rice, dried beans, kitty litter, something like that. And then if you have a heavier dumbbell or a kettlebell and you want to increase the weight for your second combo, go ahead and grab that as well. But remember that if you don't have anything that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to the workout, that the weight is optional, you have your equipment-free substitutions. So gather whatever equipment, if any, that you are using for this workout, and then you can pause the video, go get dressed. Meet me right back here. We'll do a quick 5-minute warm up together before we begin the workout. Remember, it's never a good idea to jump into the workout with cold muscles. So as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our quick 5-minute warm up. So you're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. You're going to place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there, making sure that you're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head. Your arm is completely relaxed and you're allowing gravity to just do all of the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck. Now we're gonna switch sides. So just allowing your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Your arm is completely relaxed. Your shoulders are completely relaxed. So make sure your shoulders aren't creeping up by your ears. Your shoulders should be away from your ears. We're gonna do some head rolls. So just allow your chin to fall towards your chest and then to the other shoulder and back. And with each roll, you wanna start feeling your head getting heavier and heavier. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. And you're increasing your range of motion with each roll, allowing your entire torso to just fall down in front of you. And now we're gonna do some shoulder rolls. So just rolling the shoulders to the back. Make sure you're really exaggerating that movement. Make the circles as big as you possibly can. And next we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So you're going to extend your arms out to the side and start by just making small circles with your arms. But gradually, as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you're exploring your full range of motion, making those circles as big as you possibly can. Now step your feet out a little bit wider than hip width apart. Bend the knees and kind of sweep your hands down in front of you. And as you straighten the legs, you're reaching up as high as you can, trying to touch the ceiling. And each time you bend your knees, you're expanding your range of motion a little bit, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep the feet planted where they are. We're just gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy, adding the arms. So with each lunge, you are swinging your arm, reaching across your body. It's like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now step the feet in and march. Starting with the knees low, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you are driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. And now we're going to do the same thing with a jog. So starting with a nice light jog, knees are low, but little by little you're going to start driving those knees up towards your chest, higher and higher, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Next is booty kicks. So now with each step, you're bringing your foot up behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. For this next exercise, you may need to hold on to the wall or a chair or something for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're just gonna transfer your weight into one leg, pick up the other foot, and swing the leg. Swing it in front of you, and then swing it behind you, nice and loose. Switching sides, so place this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and just start swinging the leg. Swing it in front, swing it behind you. You can start low, and then gradually start to increase your range of motion, swinging that leg higher and higher. Now we're going to extend this foot out in front and just draw a little semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you. And with each semicircle, I'm lifting my leg higher and higher until finally I'm gonna drive my knee up towards my chest and use my hand to kind of guide it around. Other side, so extend the opposite foot out in front. Make a little semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you, lifting the leg higher and higher, and then finally drive the knee up towards your chest. Use your hand to guide it around. Finally, we're going to do a little hamstring stretch. So you want to try to keep your back as flat as you can. You'll notice I'm grabbing onto this post. You can use the wall for this, or you can use a chair or a bar stool, the arm of your couch, your coffee table. You don't have to use anything for that stretch, but if you round your back during this hamstring stretch, it's fine, you're not going to hurt yourself, but it's also not going to maximize the effectiveness of the stretch. So if you can keep your back flat while you're doing this stretch, you're instantly going to feel that stretch intensify as you target your hamstrings by keeping your back flat. So you don't need to use a chair or the wall or anything like that, but it might make it a little bit easier and a little bit more comfortable to get into this stretch while maintaining a flat back if you do. So that's why I always demonstrate it on that little post over there. But a chair or the arm of your couch or your coffee table also works great for that. Our 5 minutes is up. I always kind of build this as a 5-minute warm up, and it is, but it's my personal preference to always spend a few extra seconds in that hamstring stretch because the backs of my legs are really tight. So just want to make sure that I'm nice and loose and ready for the workout. But that's it. That's our 5-minute warm up. All right, so now we are nice and warm. Our muscles are loose. Let's go ahead and get right into the workout, starting with part 1. 10 or so minutes, plus or minus about 10 minutes of moderate paced cardio. So any kind of moderate paced cardio you would like to do is fine. I am going to be jumping rope. I'm doing 10 sets of 100 with my jump rope. So we are counting 100 revolutions of the rope. That's 1 set, and we're doing that 10 times. Any style of jump rope you would like to do is fine. The only important thing is that we are counting revolutions of the rope. So I have reset my timer as a stopwatch, and I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So 100 revolutions of the jump rope. So you're going to count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. So that's my first set of 100. Just make a little slash so I can keep track of my sets. I'm gonna do that 9 more times, and that's part 1 of the workout. All right, so I'm gonna zip it. You wanna do your best to keep your rest breaks in between sets as short as you can. We wanna try to keep this under 10 minutes if we can, all right? Do your best. Your best is always good enough. All right, set number 2, here we go. 5. 5 more sets. I'm bumping myself back to 30. I'm gonna pick up my count at 30. So I'm gonna do another 70 reps and call that set number 6. So. Oh my goodness. All right. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So that was a train wreck, but just remember, if you trip, it's fine. You do not have to go back and begin the whole set over. Just take a breath, get right back into it, okay? Just pick up wherever you left off. Just pick up your count wherever, on whatever rep you tripped on, okay? That was set number 6 for me. Let's try to string together these final 4 sets as cleanly as possible. Three more sets. That was set number 9. So this is our final set. And we'll move on to part 2. 10. That's part one. So we're finished with the jump rope for now. Now you want to grab your mat. We're moving right on to our bridge combo, our glute bridge raise combo. So if you're using weights, go ahead and grab your lighter set of weights for this one. Coming down onto your mat on your back. By the way, if you need a rest break before we begin this part two, you can pause the video, come back when you're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. So my knees are bent, my feet are flat on the mat or on the ground, and my arms extended overhead. So now I'm just going to bring the arms over. Now press the heels into the ground for your glute bridge raise. And now march and march. Lower the hips down with control, and then press that low back into the mat. Lift both knees, and as you do that, you're going to bring the weights underneath your knees, tap them together with control. Make sure you're not banging the weights together. Make sure all of the movement is under control. You're just lightly tapping the weights together. And then you're lowering your arms, returning to your starting position. So, bring the arms over, glute bridge raise, march, march. Lower the hips, return to your starting position. Now lift both knees, bring the weights underneath, tap them together, lower the heels back down with control, and return to your starting position again. That's 2 sets. I'll talk you through a few more. Bring the arms over, press the heels into the ground for that glute bridge raise. 2 marches, lower the hips. Return the arms back up overhead, and now lift the knees, tap the weights, return to the starting position. That's 3. Arms, glute bridge raise, march, march. Return to the starting position. Now lift the knees, tap the weights. That's 4, I already lost track, 3 or 4. I'll call it 3. I'll talk you through 2 more, and then I'm gonna zip it because we're doing a lot of sets, okay? So, arms, bridge, march, and back. And now lift the knees and fly. That's 4. Arms come over. Glute bridge raise, march, march. Lift the knees and fly. That's 5. Okay, so that's 5 sets. I'm doing 100 sets. I know it's a lot. If you just want to do 50 or 30 or 20, do whatever works for you. But I'm gonna zip it, and I'm gonna really focus on getting these done as quickly and efficiently as possible. So I wanna make sure I'm not sacrificing my form for speed, but I also wanna make sure that I keep this moving as quickly as I can, get the reps done as quickly as possible with good form so I'm not out here all day. All right, so I am picking up my count at 5. When you're ready, here we go. So that's 10 for me. What was I thinking? 100 sets. This is ridiculous. All right. That's 15 for me. Just readjusting because I don't want to, I keep feeling like I'm inching closer and closer to this pole and I don't want to whack my hand into the pole. So, all right, picking up my count at 15. I'm still in the frame right now, kind of. You know what I'm doing. All right. I'm gonna end up like just readjusting after every 5 sets because I just can't quite find where I need to be exactly. If I wasn't making a video, it would be a lot easier, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm not like only halfway in the shot. So, all right. So that was 15 for me. Let's do another 5. think did I lose a whole 5 sets somewhere? Was that my 20th set or my 25th set? Oh my God. I'm gonna say that was set number 20, but I feel like it might have been 25. Oy. All right, I'm gonna say it was set 20. It takes so long to complete one set, and so I'm losing track of where I am. So it might not be a bad idea to make slashes after these sets as well, or maybe after each 5 sets, so that you keep track of where you are. You're not clueless like me. I think I'm gonna end up doing an extra 10 sets, or an extra 5 sets. I'm picking up my count at 20. I know I've done at least 20. All right. So I'm calling that 25, which means that I'm only a quarter of the way there. So absolutely, if you just want to do 50 of these, I think that is more than enough. I'm stubborn, so I said 100, I'm gonna do 100. I knew it was stupid when I committed to it, but I'm gonna follow through because I'm stupid. All right, but you can see now why I told you to make sure that you're using a set of weights that feels light to you. So if you started out with a set of weights that's too heavy and you have a lighter weight, now might be a good time to switch to your lighter set of weights, or maybe switch from dumbbells to something lighter like a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles, or you can switch to your equipment-free substitutions if you want to drop the weight altogether. All right, I'm picking up my count at 25. That's 30 for me. Apparently I'm just doing these in groups of 5. So I'm gonna keep going with groups of 5 until I get to 100. Wish me luck. I'm not gonna be able to move my shoulders tomorrow. So picking up my count at 30. Five for me. I tend to slowly travel in reverse while I do these, so I'm breaking these up into groups of 5 anyway. After each group of 5, I can just kind of readjust my position, slide my little booty back down towards the end of the mat. Okay, next set of 5. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Was that 40? Why can't I count? I'm gonna do one more just to make sure. Alright, that's at least 40. Possibly 41. I really should have my paper next to me. If I can just manage to count to 5, I can just make slashes after every 5 sets and keep track that way, but I'm pretty sure that was at least 40. So when you're ready, let's tackle another 5. Press that low back into the mat, engage those abdominal muscles. One. Two. 3. 4. 5. So that's 45 for me. Scooch, stretch, and reach. Here we go. Picking up my count at 45. Let's do another 5. Why do I feel like I missed something that time? 47. 48. 49. 50. I'm not wearing my gloves today, so I need to make sure that I'm situated on my mat so that my bare hands are not on the concrete, because it actually is really, really painful. So a lot of moving parts to keep track of during this combo. What was that, 45? All right, so let's do another 5. Six. 47. 48. 2 more. 49. 50. Half a century, boys. All right. So if you are not a moron nor a glutton for punishment like I apparently am, 50 sets of that is plenty. Feel free to skip ahead to part 3. Okay, you can use the chapter markers, skip ahead to part 3 and get started on your middle cardio section. All right, if you're doing the cardio sections. If not, you can skip straight ahead to part 4 and just do however many sets you're doing of the second combo, okay? I am going to keep plugging away. I'm gonna keep just chipping away at this daunting number of 100 by just taking it 5 sets at a time. So here I go, I'm picking up my count at 50. Do another 5 sets. Just make sure as you fatigue that you're continuing to mind your form. One. 2. 3. 4. 55. At any point, if you need to pause and take a longer rest break, the one I'm taking, remember you can pause the video, come back when you're ready. I'm picking up my count at 55. I'm going to do another 5 sets. Six. 7. 60. I was lying in bed last night, couldn't fall asleep as usual, and this combo just kind of came to me. Just kind of thought of it, and I thought, let me grab my phone and write it down before I forget. That's a good little combo. Aren't you so glad that I did? All right, I already forgot. Oh, was that 60? All right, so pick up my count at 60. I'm gonna do another 5. When you're ready, here we go. Another really cool way to structure this workout, if you only have lighter weights and you don't feel like the lighter weights are going to add a lot to the second combo, you could always just do 50 sets of this combo and then do your middle jump rope section and then finish with another 50 sets of this and then one more jump rope section. That would be another cool way to structure it. That would work. Was 65, right? Okay, I'm picking up my count at 65, so I'm going to do another 5. That'll get me to 70. I think. Six. 7. 8. 9. 70. If you're wondering why I have to look back at my weights every time I scooch my booty down to the end of the mat, it's just because of my OCD. I have to make sure that the numbers are facing up. Because I'm crazy. All right, so that was 70. We're getting there. Come on, let's push. We're gonna do another 5 sets when you're ready. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. 75. So that's a big number. That means we are 3/4 of the way through with these. Halfway through the second half, all right? We're getting there. And we're breaking this up into groups of 5, so that means we just have to do 5 more groups of 5. So instead of thinking of this as 25 sets, I'm gonna think of it as 5 groups of 5, okay? 5 of a thing is only 5. So that's psychologically makes it easier to tackle because I only have to do 5 things instead of 25 things. All right, so when you're ready, next 5 sets. Eight. 9. 80. All right. Just have to do 4 more groups of 5. All right, when you're ready, picking up my count at 80. 1. 2. 3. 4. 85. I don't know why I'm so stubborn. My shoulders wish I wasn't so stubborn right now. But we're gonna see this through. That was 85. So let's go ahead and start on our next group of 5. And that'll get us to 90. As soon as you're ready, here we go. Six. 7. That's 90. We're so close. All right, you guys, just 2 more groups of 5. Picking up my count at 90. When you're ready, here we go. I know it's hard. I'm doing it with you. I know it's hard. Actually, I doubt I'm doing this with anyone right now. I'm assuming the rest of you were smart enough to just say 50 sets was plenty. And you have skipped right over this. Me and my final 50 sets of this nonsense. All right, so that was 91. Two. 93. 94. 95. Final scooch. It's the final scooch down. Okay, final countdown for real. Last 5 sets, you guys. We made it. This is the home stretch. Picking up my count at 95. So that's 96. Only 4 more sets to go. I can't believe we've actually made it. This is happening. We're gonna do this. That's 97. 3 more. Let's keep pushing. 98. 99 Luftballons. And like a boss, bridge, march, march, lower, lift the knees and fly. And that is 100. Not one of my best decisions, deciding that I needed to do 100 sets of each of these combos instead of 50. But you know what? We did it. I did it anyway. You guys, if anyone else did all 100 sets with me, you rock. I mean, you rock even if you did 20 sets with me, or 10, okay? If you got dressed and you got out here and you're doing the reps, you rock. But oh my God, you rock extra hard if you did all 100 sets with me, because that was brutal. All right, so now, part 3. Part 3 is identical to part 1. Parts 1, 3, and 5 are just plus or minus 10 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio. So for me, that is 10 sets of 100 with my jump rope. Oh my goodness, my shoulders. Okay, I'm gonna just shake out the arms, stretch my shoulders real quick for a second before I jump into this, because my shoulders are like dead after that. But I need them to swing Victoria, round and round 1,000 times for this part 3. All right, so hopefully my legs work and I'm able to get my feet up and over the jump rope. Just do your best. Again, if you need to pause and rest, pause the video. You can go towel off, get a sip of water when you are ready to begin part 3. Come back. I am starting my part 3 now with 10 sets of 100 with my jump rope. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. One set down, 9 to go. That said, I'm starting over. So if you trip, you do not have to go back and start the whole set over, but for me, my threshold is always like 20 revolutions. If I don't even get to 20 before I trip, I'll typically just go back and start the set over. But you don't have to, it's up to you if you want to start over or not. But since that was rep like 10 when I tripped, just gonna start the set over. I'd rather start over and see if I can string together 100 clean revolutions. So, starting over, here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Just for me, I'd rather just string together one clean set if I'm only like 10 or 20 revolutions in to the set before I trip. Just another 5 sets with the jump rope, and then we'll move on to our second and final combo. It's just those 2 strength training exercises we're doing today. Just 4 more sets. So I'm going to start tripping more. That's normal. But I'm just going to go back. I'm going to take a 3rd crack at this set. So I'm starting my whole set over right now. We'll get through it. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, so all of that was set number 7. Three more, we got this. We made it. That was set number 9. So we just have to do one final set of 100, and that's part 3. That was my 98th revolution, so I'll just do another 10 real quick. Alrighty, good enough. All right, so that's part 3. So moving on to part 4. For me, this is another weighted combo, but remember you have your equipment-free substitutions if you don't want to add weight. If you don't want to add weight, you're just doing good morning, and then a squat, and then a side lunge, okay? Alternating sides with each rep if you want, or you can do what I'm doing, do half of your reps on one side and then switch and do the other half of your reps on the other side. Now again, I'm doing 100 total sets. I know it's ridiculous. So if you don't want to do 100 sets, that is absolutely fine. Do 50, do 40, do 20, okay, whatever works for you. But I'm going to be doing a total of 100 sets. So I'm going to stay on one side for my first 50 sets, and then I'll switch sides for the second 50 sets, okay? So, and then we have to jump rope. Then you're really gonna see some tripping because my legs are gonna be jelly after this section. All right, so if you need a longer rest break, pause the video, towel off, get something to drink. When you are ready, come back. We are going to start on this tough part 3. So you're going to begin by bringing your weight up to your shoulder, and then you're going to step towards the opposite direction with this foot sink down into your lunge. As you lunge, the weight is going to come down towards your lunging foot. And then as you press the ground away to stand, you're gonna drive this knee up towards your chest, return your weight back up to your shoulder, then press the weight up overhead. Bend the elbow, bring the weight back down to your shoulder, and then you're going to set this foot down so that your feet are a bit more than shoulder width apart. Weight comes down in front of you. Take your free hand, place it on top of the other hand. And now squat, hinge, and fly. All right, and then you're going to just bring the weight back up to your shoulder, step the feet together, return to your starting position. That's one set. So I'm going to do another 49 just like that on this leg. So I'll talk you through a few more sets just so that you got the hang of it, all right? So side lunge, bring the weight down towards that lunging foot, drive the knee up, overhead press, and now squat, hinge, bent over fly, and return to your starting position. That's 2. Lunge, touch the weight down, drive the knee up, overhead press, squat, hinge, bent over fly, and return to your starting position. That's 3. I'll show you a couple from this side. Lunge, drive the knee up, overhead press, squat, hinge, bent over fly, step the feet together. That's 4. Lunge, overhead press, squat, hinge, and fly. That's 5. Okay, so since I'm pacing myself for 50 sets on this side, I'll probably just do the same thing I did with the first combo. Take short little rest breaks after each 5 sets. All right, so that's my first 5 sets. Now, I've talked you through a few reps. You know what we're doing, so I'm gonna zip it so that I can concentrate on what I'm doing and so that I can pick up my pace a little bit. So do your best. Remember to go at your own pace. Remember not to sacrifice your form for speed. If you need a longer rest break, pause the video, and when you're ready, come back. Let's pick up our count at 5. I'm pretty sure that was 5. Might have been 6. I think it was at least 5. So that's at least 10 for me. I'm calling it 10. So just remember, you're thinking lunge, knee up, and then you're thinking squat, hinge, fly. Okay? Squat, hinge, fly. If you can just keep repeating that, it'll make it a lot easier to keep track of what you're doing. I know there's a lot of components to this. So when you're ready, here we go, another 5 sets. I'm picking up my count at 10. That's 15 for me. I don't necessarily feel like I need to rest yet. I'm just pacing myself for 50. So I think the most efficient way for me to get these done is to just do little groups of 5, take short rest breaks in between. Just maybe about 15, 20 seconds rest. So what was that for me? 15. Picking up my count at 15. I'm gonna do another 5 when you're ready. That was 20 for me. So if you're only going to 50 sets, let's just do your final 5 on this side, and then you can switch sides, okay? If you're doing 50 sets, 50 total sets instead of 100. Let's pick up our count at 20, and here we go. All right, that's 25. So if you're doing 50 total sets instead of 100 total sets, you can switch sides now. If you're doing 100 total sets with me, but you're starting to get fatigued on this side, you can switch now. Do 25 sets on the other side and then repeat. Switch after each 25 sets, but still end up doing a total of 50 on each side. It's up to you. Do whatever works for you. I want to stay on the same side for all 50 sets because I want that burnout, but you do what works for you. But if I want to feel the burn, I got to keep my rest breaks short, so I'm going to zip it. Let's get going. Picking up my count at 25. So when you're ready, let's tackle our next 5 sets. That's 30 for me. Trying to keep my rest breaks under 20 seconds. So when you're ready, here we go. Picking up my count at 30. That's 35. I'm counting those, but they were obviously not very pretty. I was having to check my balance a lot. So the goal is to go straight from your lunge into that knee up. But obviously, if you need to check your balance, you tap your foot down and check your balance. If you just cannot balance, either because you're terrible at balancing or because you're getting fatigued, maybe you were not having too much trouble with your balance towards the beginning, but now you are, you can always eliminate the knee up, okay? But just remember our philosophy of embracing the wobble, okay? If you're wobbling, just keep fighting for that balance and do your best not to let the frustration dictate your mindset moving forward. Don't let it derail you, because all the time that you're wobbling and struggling and fighting for that balance, you're actually doing amazing core work, okay? You're causing all of those tiny stabilizer muscles all throughout your core to be firing like crazy. So do your best to embrace the wobble. I know it's frustrating when you're fighting for your balance and you keep wobbling and having to tap your foot down, but remember that your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough. That was 35. So I'm gonna do another 5 sets when you're ready. Fight for that balance. I know it's getting tough, just keep fighting. So I think that's 36 for me, right? I'm wanting to call that 40, but I took too long of a rest break and I forgot where I was. And I feel like I might have skipped 5 sets. You guys, I seriously cannot count. I'm gonna do another 5 and call that 40. And I know these might be extra, but you know me, once I get that thought in my head that I might have skipped some reps, 1 or more reps, that's 1. I am not going to be able to get rid of it until I scratch that itch on my brain. 2. By doing another few sets. So I'm gonna do 2 more. That was 3. This is 4. 1 more. All right, so those may have been extra, I'm not sure, but I'm calling that 40. So I'm gonna do 10 more sets on this side. All right, when you're ready, pick up the weight, picking up my count at 40. That's 45. Just have to do 5 more sets on this side. Let's push. That's 46. 47. 48. 49, last one. All right, that's 50. So we're all done on that side. So now all we have left to do is our final 50 sets of this combo on the other leg and with the weight in the other hand. And then just one more quick 10-minute cardio session. All right, so we are getting there. We've gotten a lot done. There's a lot more left to do, but we're gonna get it done. We're 2/3 of the way done with our cardio. We've already completed all 100 sets of our first combo, 50 sets of the second combo, so we're almost there, all right? So now, let me just say before I begin, this other leg. It's always my inclination to start on my stronger side. So that means that it's easier for me to find my balance. So this side, I know I'm going to be struggling a little bit more to find my balance on this leg because this is my weaker leg. And in addition to that, now I'm more fatigued because I just finished 50 sets of this combo. So that's going to make it even harder to balance. And my brain is used to balancing on this leg. So it's going to take a few reps, even without the fatigue, and even if this leg wasn't weaker, it's going to take a few reps for my body to kind of understand what we're doing now and for me to find my balance on this leg. So remember to be patient with yourself and remember to do your best. It is entirely likely that you will struggle through the first few sets on this leg. So don't worry about it, just give yourself some grace, give yourself some time to adjust. But you're going to lift the weight up to the opposite shoulder. So now this is my standing leg. I'm going to lunge to the opposite side. As I lunge, weight comes down. Drive the knee up. Try not to tap that foot down for balance if you can help it, but if you have to check your balance, you check your balance, all right? Weight back up to the shoulder. Press the weight up overhead. Bring the weight back down to the shoulder with control. Now foot goes down, a little wider than shoulder width apart. Take your free hand, place it on top of the hand that's holding onto the dumbbell, and now squat, letting the weight fall down in front of you. Let go with your outside hand, hinge at the hips, bent over fly, remembering not to lock out that elbow. Keep a slight bend to your elbow as you do that fly. All right, then step the feet back together, bring the weight back up to your shoulder. Return to your starting position, that's one set. Second set, side lunge, tap the weight. Drive the knee up, fight for that balance. Overhead press. Foot goes down, weight comes down to the front. Squat, hinge, bent over fly. Step the feet together, bring the weight back up to the shoulder, that's two. Lunge, knee up, overhead press. And then remember, squat, hinge, fly. Lunge, overhead press. Put the foot down. Squat, hinge, fly. That's four. Five. See, they were a little rough, but we'll get there. That was our first 5 sets. So we're gonna do another 45. So again, I'm going to pace myself for 50 by just taking these 5 sets at a time, and I'll do my best to keep my rest break in between sets as short as I can. I'm gonna zip it so I can focus on my form, concentrate on my balance, and hopefully pick up my pace a little bit without sacrificing my form, of course. So when you're ready, here we go. I'm picking up my count at 5. Suddenly I don't know what to do with this hand. That was 6. 4 more, and then I'll take another little rest break. Really having to fight for that balance on this side. Just do your best. So that's 7. Squat, hinge, fly. 8. fatigue is really starting to set in. We're an hour and a half in almost. I know it's tough. Just gotta keep pushing, all right? That was 10 sets. We just have 40 more to go. It's not as many as it sounds like. These go by much faster than the first combo. So as soon as you're ready, let's push. I'm picking up my count at 10. As soon as you're ready, here we go. That was 14, one more. That was 15 for me. Next 5 when you're ready. My brain is fried. I was not focused on the movement. I was all over the place. I'm not counting any of that. Starting over, picking up my count at 15. Going for another 5 clean reps. Just do your best. That's 25. so close. If you're only doing 50 sets total, then you're done with part 3. You can skip ahead to part 4, finish up with your final cardio section. If you're continuing on with me, we just have to do 5 more groups of 5, okay? So when you're ready, picking up my count at 25, I'm gonna do another 5 sets. That's 30. We're getting there. Let's keep fighting. Another 5 sets. When you're ready. That's 35. I know it's hard. We're so close. We're so close. I know it doesn't feel like it, but we are. As soon as you're ready, let's do another 5 sets. Picking up my count at 35. That's 40. Shake it out. Couple of deep breaths. Still trying to challenge myself to see if I can keep my rest breaks to under 20 seconds. I'm not looking at my timer, I'm just going by feel. So when you're ready, let's start our next set of 5, or our next 5 sets, I should say. Because that's 1 set. We're gonna do a group of 5 sets. Squat, hinge, fly. That's 2, 3 more. Knee up, overhead press, squat, hinge, fly. That's 3. 4, one more. 45. We made it. We just have to do 5 more sets. As soon as you're ready, picking up my count at 45. That's 46. 47. Squat, hinge, fly. That's 48. Just 2 more. It's 49. Last one. We made it. Knee up, overhead press. Final squat, final hinge, final fly. And we're done. That's 50. Amazing. That's part 4. We're done with strength training. All we have left to do is our final cardio section. I guess session works. So whatever you've been doing for cardio for sections 1 and 3, you can repeat that. If you feel like mixing it up, you can do something else for cardio. I am sticking with 10 sets of 100 with my jump rope. I know this is gonna be tough. Like I said, my legs are jelly after that last section, and I'm just overall very fatigued, so it's gonna be really difficult getting my feet up and over the rope. I will probably be tripping over Victoria quite a bit, but I'm just going to do my best. We'll get the reps done, okay? Even if you're tripping, you're still out here, you're still doing the work, you're still getting your heart rate up. It's all good, okay? So, if you need a longer rest break before we finish this final section, pause the video, get a sip of water, towel off, breathe for a few minutes, and when you are ready, come back and let's start this 5th and final section. Oh, my legs are jelly. All right, let's see what happens. First set of 100. Let's see what happens. Oh. It's 20. 40. 60. 80. 100. All right. Those first few steps, my legs felt like they were like hankering for a hunk of cheese, if you know what I'm saying. made it through the set without tripping, so let's see if we can do that 9 more times. Set number 2. Picking up my count at 70. This final section is going to be rough. It's already rough, and I've only completed 2 sets. I gotta do 8 more. My legs are seriously hankering for a hunk of cheese. You know what I mean? This thing, weak in the knees after that last section. That yellow guy with the big round body and the skinny little legs. And he wore cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. A wagon wheel. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, set number 4. Picture it now in my head. I'm not really sure that he had a cowboy hat, but I'm like 99% sure about the boots. They're like brown cowboy boots, right? For a hunk of cheese. It's gonna be my head all day now. Right, he would walk like this while he was pushing like a big wheel of cheese. I'm not hallucinating, you guys. Please somebody comment and let me know that you know what I'm talking about. Reassure me that I'm not crazy. All right. Let's buckle down. Let's get serious. Let's focus. 5 more sets. Here we go. Set number 6. No more reminiscing about the round yellow guy with the skinny little legs and the cowboy boots. Talking about a hunk of cheese. 4 more sets. Closing in on 2 hours. We just have 3 more sets to go. Let's push. I'm so fatigued. I don't even have the strength to carry my jump rope over to the chair in between sets to mark my slash on my paper. All right, that was another Frankenstein set. Stitched a lot of smaller sets together, but we got to 100. That was set number 8. We have just 2 sets left to go. I know, it's a lot. We're almost done. Let's push. That was set number 9. We've made it. We have just 1 set left to go. Told you it was gonna be long. Told you it was gonna be tough, but we did it. Here we go, final set. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. Marking that final slash on my piece of paper. I always do, even though there's no need. I don't have to keep track of my sets anymore. I earned that slash. I worked hard for that slash, so I want it duly notated that all 10 sets were completed. We are not quite finished yet. That's all 5 parts of the workout. That took me 55 minutes and 31 seconds. So managed to finish in under 2 hours. Not too bad. But you know that no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. But first, whenever I do a workout that includes jump rope, as today's workout did, in addition to my bonus burpee, I also like to do a bonus set of 100 with my jump rope. So if you would like to join me, this is completely optional. If you don't want to do it, you can just cheer me on, or you can skip ahead in the video, whatever you prefer. But if you would like to join me, again, any style of jump rope you want to do is fine. We're just going to count 100 revolutions of the rope, just like we've been doing. Just 1 quick little bonus set of jump rope, if you want. So when you are ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is 100. Well done. That is our little bonus set of jump rope. So now we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you are ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. So let's go ahead and just do a quick little cool down together. The main thing is that you just want to move, okay? So you can just pace back and forth for a few minutes, that's fine. If you like to do a more structured type of cool down, you can. If that works for you, go ahead and do that. But honestly, just pacing around for a few minutes, shake out the arms, shake out the legs, that really is sufficient. The point is just that you want to keep moving, keep the circulation going while you allow your heart rate to normalize and while you allow your breathing to slow down a little bit. We did work our shoulders a lot today, so let's go ahead and stretch them. You're going to just pull one arm across your body. So I'm bringing one arm across my body and I'm using the other arm to pull it in towards my chest. My straight arm is completely relaxed. All right, you want to make sure that your arm and your shoulders are completely relaxed, because if your shoulder is tensed up and tight and up by your ear like this, you're not going to be able to stretch it effectively. All right, so you want to make sure this arm is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulders relaxed, so that as you use your other arm to pull your straight arm in towards your chest, you really feel that stretch in your shoulder. All right, so shake it out. Get the shoulder on the other side. So bring the opposite arm across your body. Use your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Make sure your arm is completely relaxed. Your straight arm should be relaxed. Your other arm is doing all the work, and make sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed so you can really feel that stretch in your shoulder. And make sure you're continuing to breathe. Nice, long, slow, deep, controlled breaths. Trying to get our breathing back to normal. Okay, so if you're still breathing heavily, you want to make sure that you're really focusing on your breath as you do this little bit of light stretching. Let's go ahead and get the triceps. So bending one elbow, and then you're going to place the opposite hand on the outside of your elbow, and then just gently pull, using this hand to pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. And while you do that, you want to make sure that your free hand is completely relaxed. The finger should be pointing straight down towards the ground. Okay, so if this hand is kind of hanging out up here somewhere, make sure that you relax your arm, relax that hand. It should be pointing straight down towards the ground. Okay? Shake it out. Get the tricep on the other side, same thing. So bending the other arm, place your opposite hand on the elbow, gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, feeling that stretch in your tricep, and making sure that your free hand is completely relaxed, pointing straight down towards the ground. Swing it out. We'll do a quick quad stretch. So if you have trouble balancing, you may want to hold on to the wall or a chair for support. Even if your balance is normally pretty good, at this point, after a 2-hour workout, you're going to be fatigued, and so it's going to be more difficult to balance. So just keep that in mind. You may need to hold on to something for support, but if you don't need anything for support, that's fine. You're just going to bend one knee, bring the foot up behind you, and then reach behind you, grab on to the top of your foot with both hands, and then press your heel into your booty cheek. And as you do that, you want to make sure that you're tilting your pelvis forward. The same way we tilted our pelvis forward for our ab exercise, so that we were pressing our low back into the mat, that's what you want to do here. So you're kind of tucking your booty underneath you, and again, you're sucking your belly button back. It's like you're trying to touch your spine with your belly button. So let me show you from the side. We're switching legs. So now bend the opposite knee, bring the foot up behind you, reach back, and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. Press your heel into your booty cheek, and while you are doing that, you're also tilting your pelvis forward. So tuck the booty underneath you, suck your belly button back towards your spine. Make sure as you do that you're continuing to press your heel into your booty cheek. As soon as you combine those two elements, all right, making sure that you're tilting your pelvis forward, sucking your belly button back towards your spine, and at the same time, continuing to press your heel into your booty cheek. As soon as you combine those two, you'll feel that stretch instantaneously intensify in your quad. It really helps to isolate your quad muscle a lot more, makes the stretch a lot more effective. All right, so shake it out one more time. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. If you feel that you are still breathing heavily and your heart rate is not back down to normal, then you can pause the video and you can continue to pace around for a couple more minutes, do a little more light stretching, and then when you feel that you are sufficiently cooled down, come back and you can try this Monday mobility challenge with me. All right, so it is Monday and it is the return of my Monday mobility challenge. So I found another mobility challenge. This one I found on YouTube, and we're gonna try it together and see if we can complete it successfully. So I'm looking at it right now. I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at so that you can see what it looks like and you understand what we are trying, okay? All right, so he is bending one knee and placing the outside of his ankle on top of the other knee, or maybe just above it. All right, so it went by quickly. Now here's a bunch of people not able to complete the challenge successfully, but you can see they're starting by bending that one knee, placing the ankle on top of the other knee, and then arms by the side, you're going to roll back, tap the ground with your toe, and then lean forward and grab onto your foot, tap your knee or your nose to your knee. So let's watch it one more time. But it's basically just a plow pose if you break it down, but you have one knee bent, and then you're just leaning forward to grab your foot. So this guy gets it. Let's watch it one more time. So roll back, tap the toe, and now come forward. Lean forward is grabbing his foot and tapping his nose to his knee. And that's it. All right, so that's it. That's the challenge. All right, so if you want to try this mobility challenge with me, definitely grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat. You are definitely going to want something soft beneath you for this. Now, at the risk of jinxing myself, I have to tell you that I really don't think I am going to struggle with this one because, like I said when we were watching the video, if you break it down, it's really just plow pose. Now, it's been years since I attempted to do plow pose, but back in the day when I used to do yoga, I mean, I took 2-3 yoga classes a week. It's not like I was some master yogi, but I never had any trouble with plow pose, if I recall. So I know it's been a long time, but I think I can do plow pose. And the only thing that makes it more challenging is having that leg bent. But what that's testing is hip mobility. And I have good hip mobility. My hips are very flexible. I've always had very open hips. That's just the way I'm built. So, and I train hip mobility. So I really think that this one is not going to be challenging for me. But you never know, because sometimes they look so easy and then you try them and they're impossible and you're like, how is this person doing this? And then other times you think there's no way in 100 years I'll ever be able to do that, and then you try it and you can do it. So, you know, maybe this is one of those that I think looks easy, but it's gonna end up being really difficult. I don't know. But if you need a refresher course, this is how Monday mobility challenges work. We get 3 chances. Okay, so warped wall rules. If you ever watched American Ninja Warrior, you know that when they get to the warped wall, they get to try twice and fail. If they fail on the 3rd attempt, that means they have failed the obstacle, but as long as you get it within those 3 attempts, that's a win, okay? So as long as we are able to complete this challenge successfully in 3 tries, that counts as a win. That means we did it. All right, so we are going to begin by coming down onto the mat. Oh, I'm gonna be so sore tomorrow. Okay, so what were they doing? I don't think it mattered. They all had this leg. They all had this leg straight and this leg bent. So that's how I'll do it. So what you're going to do, we're starting down here on the mat with both legs straight. You're going to pick up one foot, bend the knee, and place the outside of your ankle just above your other knee. And then this ankle is going to stay glued right here for the entire duration of the challenge. So now what we're going to do is come down onto your back. They have their hands down to the side like this. And now we're just going to lift the legs and we're going to try to tap the ground above the top of your head with your toe, okay? So just lifting this leg straight up, and now keep going. You're gonna lift your hips up. You can press your hands and your arms into the mat for support. Lift those hips up. Bring the toe all the way behind you until you tap the ground. And then come forward, reversing the movement, hips down, lower the legs, keeping that ankle glued to the top of your thigh the whole time, just above your knee. And then sit up. And then they were just, my knee, I said he was bringing his nose to his knee. I don't think I'm gonna get my nose past my ankle into my knee, but I can definitely grab onto my, what is this, a foot, my foot. Oh, I can get my nose to my knee. All right, so I think that's it. I think I did it. All right, so that's it. That was not a challenge for me. I didn't think that it would be because it just plays to my strengths, right? But you saw all of the people who were struggling with it. So it just depends on how you're built. It depends on how open your hips are. Of course, you can always improve your hip mobility, and I think that is definitely something that you should do. That's why we do these Monday mobility challenges, because I think that flexibility and mobility are two very overlooked and undervalued aspects of your total fitness. And I think it is never too soon. You're never too young to start prioritizing your flexibility and your mobility. It's easy to take those things for granted when you're younger, but as you age, we're all aging, okay? So just to make sure that in addition to your strength training and your cardio training, make sure you are not neglecting your flexibility and your mobility training, because it's very important. It's going to improve your quality of life, and it's going to be especially useful the older you get, all right? So if you didn't get it the first time, let's keep working on it. We get 2 more chances, and if you're not able to get it by the 3rd attempt, that means you need to work on your hip mobility. So make it your priority to start training hip mobility, and then maybe come back to this next Monday and give it another try. All right, so if you didn't get it the first time, but you came close and you think you might get it with another couple of attempts, let's go ahead and try it again. It doesn't matter which leg you bend. I'm just bending this leg because that's what they all were doing in the video. So maybe you think you might, if you failed with bending this leg, you might have better luck bending the other leg. That's worth a try. I'm just gonna bend the same leg I bent the first time. All right, so starting here with your legs straight. Now, bend this knee. You're going to place the outside of your heel on top of this knee. Come down onto your back. Your arms are at your side. Now lift the leg, lift the hips, bring that foot all the way behind you until you tap the ground with your toe. Then reverse the movement. Leg comes down, sit up, and lean forward and grab a hold of your foot. Bring your nose to your knee. And that's it. That is our Monday mobility challenge successfully completed. Well done. All right, if you still haven't gotten it, we get 1 more attempt. So this is our 3rd and final attempt. As soon as you're ready, we got this, okay? So 1 more time. Starting with both legs straight. Bend one knee, place the outside of your ankle on top of your leg. Hands down by your side, come down onto your back. Now lift the leg, lift the hips, and bring that foot all the way up and behind you until you tap the ground with the toe. Then reverse the movement, bring the hips down, bring the legs down, sit up. Now lean forward, grab your foot with both hands and bring your nose down to your knee. And that's it. Another successful Monday mobility challenge. That was a fun one. Fun probably for me because it was easy for me, but hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Let me know if you were able to successfully complete this Monday mobility challenge with me. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format of today's workout and how everything fits together, or if today's workout was too long for you, too many reps, and you need help kind of making adjustments to the format, if you have questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any help with equipment-free substitutions beyond what I have already provided, if you need to see beginner modifications, I am right here to help, so please just ask. So now it's really important that you're taking at least a good 15 or 20 minutes to stretch. If you can do it right now, immediately after the workout, this is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout. If you do not have time to stretch now, that's fine. You can stretch later on in the day. Just remember that if you put off your stretching until later in the day, that your muscles will have gotten cold again, so you're going to need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin your stretching routine. The same way we take 5 minutes to warm up our muscles before beginning the workout, it's just as important that you're not jumping into your stretching routine with cold muscles. Warm muscles are more pliable. So by just taking a few minutes to warm up your muscles before you begin stretching, you are going to reduce your risk of injury. You're going to lessen the likelihood that you might overstretch or pull a muscle or strain something. So as long as you get your stretching done at some point during the day, that's what counts. Just don't skip your stretching, but remember that if you wait until later to do your stretching, you're going to have to take a couple of minutes to warm your muscles back up before you begin your stretching routine. That is going to do it for today. But before I say goodbye, I just have to say one final thank you to those of you who have been watching the videos all the way until the end and commenting with the secret code phrase of the day. So before I say goodbye, I will give you today's secret code phrase of the day. It is, bees are on the what now? So if you are still watching this video, hello, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please let me know that someone is still watching by going down to the comment section and leaving me a comment that says, bees are on the what now? That is going to do it for today. I will see you all next time. Bye.